All right, welcome back to Bakes Takes. I appreciate y'all's patience these past few weeks. As I'm sure you're aware, the OG Fortnite map is back out. So while Pleasant Park and Fatal Fields has been getting the bulk of my attention, that's just not fair to you guys, and I'm aware of that. So Bakes Takes is back with a trade deadline special episode. This is a yearly fan favorite where we'll be going over each team's needs, wants, desires going into that November 18th trade deadline. Once again, that deadline is the 18th. So you have one more week to find out what your team is, what your team is not. You all can thank Lance. Following that trade deadline, the Moneyball rule will be in effect, where the team with the fewest total points each week will donate $10 back into the league. And again, that will go toward kind of miscellaneous expenses such as the Champions Towel, the Champions Dinner, and so forth to cover league expenses. So I'll jump right into it. I'll start with my team first. It has been kind of a disappointing, frustrating year for Random Football Club. As a matter of fact, I do think I was actually mic'd up this past week watching myself lose by 1/10 of a point to Kyle on Monday night. Matter of fact, we also have footage of me when Justin Jefferson went down this year. And every time I watch Najee Harris get the football. So yeah, as you can see, it has been kind of a frustrating year. So right now I kind of feel like I'm in a little bit no man's land heading into this trade deadline, where this week could provide some clarity on if I lose, might sell off a piece or two. If I win, I might buy a piece or two, but I don't see much action coming for me at the deadline, as I kind of feel like I'm not quite bad enough to give up on this team, but not quite good enough to really push my chips in. So we'll see, but it could be kind of a quiet deadline for me this season. Next, we have Lance. Sitting at 8-1, there's really not much to gripe about on this roster. My sources are telling me that he is looking to bulk up his receiver room. A little bit fed up and tired of having to start bipolar Amari Cooper. So he's looking to maybe add some wide receiver depth or maybe some star power just to clean up that room. But it's a pretty strong roster start to finish. And he's looking to maybe just add one or two pieces to make that championship run that has honestly eluded him. A strong roster last year and was unable to get it done. So we'll see if this year is the year for Lance. Next, we have Nate, who, as I'm sure you all have seen, has been an absolute fire sale here so far in his first season. I think he might sell off his T100s if it means he gets a fifth rounder coming back. So again, he's looking to sell anything he's got. The only thing is his shelves are pretty empty right now. So he has one more week to kind of fend off any pieces he may still have, or he might just hang on to what he's got just to try to avoid some $10 Moneyball rule implications. We also have Brendan, who's kind of on the polar opposite of Nate. He is looking to buy, but just doesn't have damn near anything to buy with. All of his draft capital is eaten up, and his team is probably going to be what his team is. He's not looking to sell, doesn't have much to buy with. So as of now, Brendan is probably staying pat. Kevin, maybe in a similar boat to me, just kind of differently, but he has had a frustrating year, feels his team is far better than his record indicates, and I think the total points for reflects that as well.
Oh, come on.
Hey, all that working out and you can't open a water bottle?
Oh, come on. What's he?
So it seems this next week might determine the fate on if Kevin keeps his band together or blows it up completely. Sources also reached out to Kyle's team on if he had any information he would care to share heading into the trade deadline.
Yeah, no, not right now.
I'm hearing we can now cut to a live look at the war room for Eric's team heading into this trade deadline as well. And despite being 7-2, Ty did not have many kind words when asked about his roster.
And who's your favourite player?
None of them. They're all rubbish.
So it appears Ty's going to reluctantly hang on to his roster to see what kind of run they can go on this year. Andrew raised a lot of eyebrows, perked a lot of ears, and turned a lot of heads with his last trade. selling off a lot of assets for a 3-6 roster that has been nothing short of stagnant all year. He seems to see something that the rest of the world does not, and thinks that this deal now puts him in position to get into the back end of the playoffs and make an Eli Manning type run once he does. So we'll see if he proves all the critics wrong, who were not shy to voice their opinions in the chat when that trade went through. Speaking of, it appears we have breaking news here. In a 3-team deal involving Brendan, Luke, and Jared, we have Jared sending James Cook an 11 and a 13 to Brendan in exchange for an 8 and a 10. Jared will then be sending DeAndre Hopkins, Jahmyr Gibbs, a 14 and a 15 to Luke, in which he will get Ezekiel Elliott, George Pickens, and a 9th and a 10th rounder. This here is breaking news on Bakes Takes. So if there were any questions before, Brendan and Luke are bolstering their teams for a stretch run, while Jared has thrown in the towel on what has been a pitiful and shameful season. He now has his sights set on next season. Lastly, we have Pete, who despite his Cinderella run to start the year, has his sights as well set on next year, as he has told all sources that he is looking to sell. He has key pieces, notably Tyreek Hill, on the trade market. So again, if you are looking to buy, you can look no further than Pete's team to maybe add a couple pieces for that stretch run. So again, I appreciate y'all for tuning in for the trade deadline episode. We have, once again, one more week. November 18th will be that trade deadline. Get in your trades now. Send them to me once they are complete, and I will hit up the chat with the finalized trades. Until next time.